Hello, this is Ken Barron with the National Association of Black and White Men Together. Today we're going to talk about redistricting, but before I do that, make sure you hit the buttons to subscribe or like us or just follow through if that's what you need to do. So, on with the show. So what is redistricting? Well, it's something that influences our voting capabilities, because a small change in district lines can solidify a majority of voters for a particular party or split its opponents amongst multiple districts that dilute their influence. Republicans need to net just 5 seats to regain the House in the 2022 elections, and this could determine the fate of President Biden's remaining agenda. Now, remember, the NABWMT does not support individual candidates or political parties, but does report policies that follow or are against our statement of purpose. And redistricting has been handled historically by lawmakers and governments who have an incentive to draw lines favoring their own parties. But public attention to gerrymandering, now, this is a practice intended to establish an unfair political advantage for a particular party by manipulating the boundaries of election districts. Well, this gerrymandering has grown in recent decades. As a result, voters in an increasing number of states have shifted the test to special commissions. When voters in some states created new commissions to handle redistricting, the hope was that the bipartisan panelists could work together to draw new voting districts free of partisan gerrymandering. Instead, cooperation has proved elusive. In New York, Ohio, Virginia, commissions meeting for the first time this year have splintered into partisan camps to craft competing redistricting maps based on the 2020 census data that probably our listeners contributed to. These divisions have disappointed some activists like myself and more our members and allies. As a result, the new state house and senate districts in Republican-led Ohio, for example, will still favor the GOP. In addition, Democrats who control New York could still draw maps as they wish, and a potential stalemate in Virginia could eventually kick the process to the courts. Some commissions, such as those in Arizona, California, Colorado, and Michigan, consist solely of citizens who hold the final say on what the maps are to enact. But others, such in Ohio and Virginia, require their maps to be submitted to the legislature for final approval, as in the case in New York, in Virginia, and in Utah. If New York's Democratic-led legislature rejects the work of new commissions, then lawmakers can draft and pass their own redistricting plans. Democrats and Republicans on the commission fail to agree, and instead they are releasing competing versions of the new maps for the U.S. House, State Senate, and State Assembly. The commission's division frustrated Jennifer Wilson, the deputy director of the League of Women Voters of New York. The organization supported the 2014 ballot measure that created such a commission and encouraged people to testify at the panel's public hearings this year. In another state, Ohio, where the commission was dominated by Republican elected officials, and they voted past week to adopt a state legislature redistricting plan that they favored. Because the plan had no Democratic support, the state constitution limits it to 4 years. Democrats on the panel called the maps unfair, but Republican Senate President Matt Huffman asserted that special interests pressured Democrats not to back a redistricting plan that could have lasted the entire next decade. The partisan map came despite more than a dozen public hearings dominated by testimony from Ohio residents who said the current gerrymandering maps have left them out in the cold. In the neighborhood around the Islamic center of Cleveland, and that's one of the region's largest Muslim population, it's fractured into multiple congressional and Senate House districts. Because of the way that districts are drawn, elected officials have no incentive to be receptive, responsive, or accessible to constituents' concerns. The Michigan panel of 4 Democrats, 4 Republicans, and 5 independents has so far avoided devolving into partisan encampments. Next, in Virginia, 2 separate map makers hired for the Democrats and the Republicans are to submit rival plans for consideration this coming week by the 16-member commission, which has 4 lawmakers and 4 citizens from each major party. If the commission can't agree, or the Democratic-led assembly rejects the maps, the decision will fall to the state Supreme Court, which is dominated by GOP-appointed judges. Midterm elections are set for the next year, and the policies that the National Association of Black and White Men Together agrees with could be at risk. The NA media team has a political action campaign to inform our members and allies of such concerns and help people vote on such events that deny our right to vote. Well, that's it for today. I trust you were informed on this, and if necessary, you can contact us at NABWMT at nabwmt.org. And again, we're on this live platform, Facebook Live. We're on Twitter, and our website is nabwmt.org. We appreciate your support, and we will talk to you again soon.